Morning, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 808. No heartbreaks, all right? If you know, you know. Welcome to Activated Mornings for the second day in May 2023. It's a lovely Tuesday morning. It's nice and cool outside, warming up just a bit as we prepare to take on whatever opportunities that are coming our way today. So it's a new month, new day, new everything. This morning, we're going to take you up until 9:45 with some commentary. Joining us this morning is Mr. Kingsley DeFreitas, we say, and yours truly, Crystal. All right, we say good morning, Mr. DeFreitas. How are you?
Yeah, morning, Christal. I feel nice being here this morning.
Yeah, you said that last week. You were so looking forward to this morning.
Yeah, because we have the first chance in doing put Dr. Thompson aside for today because he's normally here and on Monday. Today is the beginning of the work week, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. Um, how was your weekend? Okay.
My weekend was wonderful.
Okay.
Your weekend was good?
Yeah, I went looking for a couple of people, and one that stood out of my mind is your very, very, very good friend on the radio. Um, I will speak to you with such a condition off air, but on air I will tell you that he needs your prayer. And I'm referring to your radio friend Slider.
Mm-hmm.
Slider Mackenzie.
What's happening? Oh, you told me off air.
Yeah. I went looking for him yesterday, myself and Pastor Daniel and somebody else from the church. And it's just mind boggling. So I talk to you off air with that one.
Okay.
Yeah. But um Monday was the celebration of Labor Day. Some say it is Labor Day, some say it is May, some say it's International Labor's Day. And when I hear about that, first people come to my mind, Christel, is poor working class people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, regionally and internationally. And that the one thing you have to applaud the administration led by Rav Gonsalves to do what he did is when he put something in place. I don't know if he was advised by other persons that the first day, which is the first of May, should and be recognized as Labor Day. Before then, we used to celebrate it on the first Monday, depends on what time of the year it falls on. I don't know how significant the changes is, but change are always good, but sometimes change doesn't necessarily reflect where we are going. And the reason why I'm saying that, I read the social newspaper editorial, and it's quite interesting. If you have a copy of last week's social newspaper, go and read the editorial by Claire Keyser, and you will get the drift of what's taking place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I have not heard, I don't know if there are other things who are put in place, I have not heard any organized, structured discussion, celebration on the issue of Labor Day in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But I get the impression it's for poor working class people like you and I who are the persons who are responsible for driving St. Vincent and the Grenadines economy. Crystal, poor people like you and I go to the supermarket every day or every other day and they shop, and that help to sustain the VAT and put monies into the economy. And I don't want people who thinks that they should not be recognized. They should recognize, give yourself a cup on the shoulder and say that you as a poor working class person are making an effort to sustain our economies in St. Vincent and Grenadines. And when I hear about poor working class, Christian, credit unions come to my mind. You check the amount of young person or working class person who we usually refer to as poor people are members of the credit union. And then we have the issue of the National Insurance Service, NIS, where most of us will depend on for a little thing whenever employer and employee make their contribution. And those things are a reflection of the structure of today's society. And when we mention structure, we have to remember the Right Honorable First Prime Minister of St. Vincent and Grenadines, Robert Milton Keito, who instituted the issue of the National Providence Fund. And it was transformed to the National Insurance Scheme. And then Dr. Gonsalves didn't the word scheme. It's probably a negative collocation, and he called it National Insurance Services. Today, it has its challenges, but like commentators here, Marsha, this morning, the commentators have to reflect on the National Insurance Services all over the world that is having their challenges. I don't know if it was suggesting that we need to see a more robust investment structure coming from the National Insurance Services, or we should just make sure that people who are responsible for making sure the National Insurance Services survive all of us lifetime. So if you're part of this particular structure that we're talking about, and you're poor working class persons, and you're a credit unionist, and you're a member of the NIS, you should give yourself a round of applause and say that we're doing a relatively good job in St. Vincent and Grenadines as poor working class people. And you may say, why are you using the word poor? Should I say rich working class people? Well, if you're rich and you're part of the program, listen, you can share your view and suggest that where we're going. But as I say, you feel a part of the poor working class people in St. Vincent.
Define poor.
Define poor. When I say poor, I don't mean poverty of the mind, I don't mean poverty of wealth, I don't mean poverty. I just mean that people will say, Christal, we come from poor people and you are doing relatively well. That is the way I'm coloring the picture of poor, because I don't want people to think that I say that you don't have any clothes and the clothes dropping off your back and you catch the tail in to make ends meet. That is not the collocation I try. I just try to use a simple word that could connect with the average poor people, laymen out there who are members of the credit union, who are members of probably building loans, and they have any problem, and the national insurance services, because
Perhaps low income. Low income might be a better term, because poor just whenever anybody says poor, what comes to my mind is you're unable to meet your basic needs.
and that is not
So,
what I'm trying to say.
well, perhaps, well, that's the impression I get. I'm telling you how I'm interpreting it. Whenever you say poor, I think poverty. I think unable to meet needs, unable to probably service your electricity bill, your water bill, your basic utilities, unable to get enough food for the month, unable to the basic things.
And while you elaborate,
That's what I'm thinking.
while you elaborate on your thoughts and you demonstrate that you don't think somebody will say that Christian have a true understanding of what poor people King is referring to. Not necessarily say that you can't meet your bills, but when we get our salaries, Christian, I don't get a salary. We have to struggle and juggle the bills around. You pay half on the light bill, pay half on the food bill, because a coach remind you if you owe them that you should come in and make a payment or talk to them. So that is the coloration I'm trying to say, because hey, there are lots of people in St. Vincent and Grenadines over the last 3 years been having some difficulty in making ends meet with the issue of the 12 deaths that we had with related to dengue, the eruption of the last software, and the World Health declared COVID-19 pandemic. Up to now, some people are catching hell to recover from where they were in 2019, and that is where.
So would you call those people poor?
This,
So there's there
this
three.
struggling, this
I
struggling.
think so. I'll put them in three groups, right? Not having enough, having just enough, you striking a balance, right? And having in excess. So the people who have just enough to make ends meet, sometimes I think people use it to living paycheck to paycheck to describe those people.
I like to hear that one.
So you get $1,000, your expenses are $1,000. You have no excess. There are some people who have $1,000 income and your expenses are $500. They have excess income. And there are some people whose expenses exceed their income. They're the ones who don't have enough. I think in terms of like poor and poverty, that's the class perhaps I'll put them in. But I don't have a degree in like sociology or anything, so subject to correction there. But that's just how I interpret it, or that's just what goes through my mind when you say poverty. And that's the three boxes that I'll put them in.
Well, you're probably right in your own limit understanding of what you're presenting, because I had some corned beef and bread before I come on here, not the healthiest food, but I just have a knack for corned beef, right? So I had breakfast, Christal. But that doesn't mean that I'm not poverty stricken, because I know the corned beef is not healthy for me, health-wise, but I eat it because it's an orchard taste with some onion and some sweet pepper and thing.
But at the end of the month, can you service all of your utilities? Do you have deficit, just enough, or an excess? No, I wouldn't put somebody who has excess or just enough in. I wouldn't call you poor. Well, I would never call you poor.
You mean I have to chuckle on this now, because Christal is suggesting that she said she wouldn't call me poor, but I take it.
I didn't mean you. I'm asking, right?
Yeah, but I
You
can.
said poor people like me and you put me in that class. I don't know if it was a general you or me you, but at the end of the month, do you meet your obligations? Right? Do you have leftover from your obligations? Or are you lacking? If you're lacking, then yeah, perhaps I'll accept the poor. But if you're not, then you ain't poor. Don't
Well,
call poor
I
on
tell you
yourself.
something. I was using the menu as a general coloration, not to
Oh.
point my fingers at you. So to clarify that with listeners who are bent out of shape because they might say that you're calling Christal poor. No, that is not my intention. I was just using to general. But I don't have excess funds whenever I come to the end of the month because, like I say, I'm self-employed, and regards to what people say, the business is not as good as it was in 2019, 2020. So I personally are struggling to make ends meet, but have persons out there, as you say, may pay all the bills, but they don't have anything to save when if complete pay all the bills that month. And old people they say one a full basket. So if you can afford to save at least a $10 every month, go to the credit union and pay a $25 basic share. I am encouraging you to do that as a credit unionist because when you reach my age and older, you really realize the importance of having something. Because let me tell you something. A lot of intervention was tried and tested during the COVID-19 period where they had to dig into their resources. They had chuckle, where here, there, and there. And a good wife house, like a good wife, a good housekeeper like Anta would tell you, they know how to put aside something whenever they were making a little bit, let me use your word, excess. And that is what they fall back on over the last 3 years. Right, Janet Matthews? Because all they know what all they had to do in making the effort, like persons who are surviving today.
Before you go forward, though, just by way of announcement, sorry.
Mhm.
So the WhatsApp, you're not able to connect with us via WhatsApp. For now, we'll tell you exactly when it's back up. So if you've messaged and you're not hearing your message come through, or you're not hearing your good morning, it's because we don't have access to it at this moment. So if you want to chime in on this conversation, you have to call 457-9997 or go over to the Facebook Live. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at WEFM 99 SVG, right? Or drop your comment there. So that's that. Okay, this thing is so rude. All right, there was another announcement, but I can't remember what it is now. It just slipped through my mind. All right, so let's continue.
So the issue of WhatsApp will be momentarily out. So
Yeah.
I did get that reminder by the unofficial ambassador for WEFM overseas. Okay, right. So I did forget to mention that.
Are you talking about Anne?
Of course, I'm talking about yes, yes, yes. But I have some people that in my area, Christian, that I would like to mention respectfully, and I'm referring to Tommy King. Tommy King was a teacher. He's a retired teacher, and he's do a lot of community work. If I think he is related to Curtis King. And I'm also referring to Pat Jack. I passed by Pat Jack yesterday up in Belmont, and he's doing relatively well. My former head teacher, Bruce Mullerin, and my neighbor and friend, Victor Byron, who came through the era of the Black Power thing and things like that. Noel Jackson, Mr. Robertson, Bones Bonady, the Encyclopedia of Memory and Things in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and who could speak on the issue of poor-related issues where people are struggling to make ends meet. And I have this teacher lady who listens to us in Daphne. Her name is Patsy Holder, made a tremendous contribution to the teaching fraternity, and they're still doing what they have to do to make sure that their thoughts and their wish for people are going relatively well. So just to mention some people in my area who I think that does extremely good job, you could give us a call and let us know at 4579997. That's the telephone number that you can give us a call. Respond and speak to us on the issue. On the lighter side, Christel, I understand that one of your admired radio friend is no longer with us. Is that so?
He's more than an admired radio friend. Like I told you, I have history in CIBC. I grew up in that bank, and he was a former employee of CIBC. And yeah, he used to call, even at my former radio station, quite often, quite often, quite often. So it was very sad to hear that he passed last week.
Yeah, I actually met him through my father. And my father had some business at that bank when he used to manage it. That is how I actually know him. Yes.
Yeah. When I was growing up in CIBC, every year they used to put off a Christmas party for the children, and he was always Santa Claus.
Wow. But he had a complexion for be Santa Claus, you know.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
bill too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. I was
um,
listening to the Eastern program when they mentioned his name, and I wasn't too sure if it's that Darby until
Desmond Dabru.
yeah, because I have a friend in Connery that we call Bliney. He's also a W, and I have a friend in the Fountainville area who knows you quite well. Listen, so I was a bit confused which of the W. So when I come on this morning, somebody tell me it's Christal friend. So I said, okay, is the right one. That's my
Yeah,
thought came
and
on.
that's actually two former CIBC workers within the space of a week.
Wow.
We can. I'm not even sure the number of days really, but both
Yeah,
these.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways, let's move on.
And like I say, I was involved in it, still involved in the taxi business. And when I wanted to like get a better vehicle, my father introduced me to him and he sent me to a particular loan officer. I didn't meet the requirements, but at least I know he made an effort to assist me. But thank God for the Bank of Siemens, BOSVG that I but the effort was noted, and I also had a lot of respect for him for trying to give me some level of assistance. Because you may say, oh, you go to the bank and the bank lead on your loan. Hey, if you ain't have all the documents to prove that you can pay back people the money, how you get it back? Oh, that's the kind of poor talk about all, yeah. Right, right.
You know something, as you're talking about poor, there are some people who, okay, so you're accustomed getting a certain income, and because your income has reduced, uh, yeah, it's distressing, and I get that. But at the end of the month, you still have an excess, but you don't have as much as you used to have. So you find some persons like that, they will start complaining about how things are so difficult, or things are so hard. And sometimes you get the impression that things are extremely difficult with them when it's not as hard as other people who aren't even complaining. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a good observation. That is
They
why
just
some
cry for
people
crying sake.
just ask me, why are you happy? You know what Mr. Weeks always said. Mr. Weeks said to me sometime I go through radio, when we walk in, we have to make adjustment. And if you're coming to be a retired civil servant, as you say, Christian, you have to adjust your needs and do that. But you live in a lavish life, and when you retire, your retirement can't take care of all your bills. And I listened to Cian Marshall this morning, don't always agree with him, but I think that he made some sense in his presentation where people have to be mindful of comparison. I mean, houses was built under the NDP, but it's a fact that Dr. Gonsalves made it much easier for us at the National Commercial Bank, not the Bank of Savings and Guineas, where civil servants and people like Lovon could go and get 100% mortgage. It might take us a whole year to pay off that, but at least, as Pastor Daniel normally say, is don't worry about the size of the amount of money you borrow. Just worry about the monthly payment, and one of these days they will say, I did it my way. So, and lots of people need to adjust their thoughts on how they're going to spend their retirement monies when they get their little thing from the NIS and central government. They have to adjust themselves. And we need to see some education taking place. So inform persons while you're doing that. You have to remember that you can't continue the lavish lifestyle or what you're doing while your company working for full salary, and you're going to only get probably a half of the retirement. And I want to take the opportunity via WEFM and Christel and to congratulate the new appointment of the security chief in Kingston. Okay, there's somebody who's appointed there, and he had a long stint in the police force at the Royal Service and Gurney's traffic department. You could figure out who that person is. He's going to take care of the security aspect of the things in St. Vincent and Grenadines alongside the Kingston Town Board. Okay? Right. So that's it. Yeah.
All right. You seem to know all the ins and outs. So if no
Sometimes I
names,
try.
no
Sometimes.
names, no warrants kind of scene.
Yeah, but you're fired and I smile on time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay?
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
Looks can be quite deceiving.
Not your looks. That is why I chose not to sit the next year anymore, because
Okay.
I was
The,
warned by
the,
you.
the listeners don't need to know
I
that part.
was wondering about your friend, Mr. Dabro. Don't sit next to and Mr. Weeks also tell me to sit next.
All right. Okay. All right. 8:28, by way of announcement, Unicommerce in Vincent Limited wishes to advise the general public that its Quartz Ready Cash Servitech branches will open at 10 a.m. today, Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023, to facilitate a general staff meeting. Customers are invited to shop with us via online and via www.shopquartz.com to enjoy the best deals and offers. Bills can be paid at any BOS Vigil location or any post office throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The management and staff of Unicommerce St. Vincent Limited sincerely apologizes for any inconvenience caused and look forward to serving you again. What we're going to do at this time is 8:29 and a few seconds. We're going to take a break and come right back.
That's the sound of your animals. Strong, healthy, delivering yields you love. That didn't just happen. It began with you feeding them only the best. East Caribbean Feeds. Rest assured, we only produce your feeds with premium ingredients. No hormones, no animal byproducts. Just everything your animal needs for maximum nutrition. Because your animals deserve only the best. East Caribbean Feeds from Maximum Nutrition.
Census 2023. They're counting you, they're counting me. Attention Vincentians, the 2023 Population and Housing Census is on. They're counting you, they're counting me. Census Day is June 15th, 2023. The data collection period runs from June 16th to September 15th, 2023. Your cooperation with the enumerators is vital. Do not turn them away. Give truthful information. The information collected will benefit the whole country. Remember, on this we must be united. Stand up and be counted. Stand up and be counted.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines, it's a whole new world out there. Reaching new customers and getting products faster. That's what it's all about. Ocean freight rates are skyrocketing, so don't pay more for slower service. It's time to switch to faster, more reliable air cargo service with SkyMax Cargo. Up to 3 flights weekly to and from the USA, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean islands, providing excellent import, export, and e-commerce solutions to put you ahead of the competition. For special low rates on small packages and air cargo, contact SkyMax today. 784-456-5400. Local agents SwiftPack Interprime Cargo. Call 784-456-5400 to book your shipments today.
How we live? Hybrid life. Living in the hybrid life. What you feeling? Hybrid life. Living in the hybrid life. End up on time we now watch phone bill. That's with the contract is a sure thing. How with the new floor plan name? Hybrid. If you don't know about it, then they better slide in. How we live? Hybrid life. Living in the hybrid life. What you feeling? Hybrid life. Living in the hybrid life. Jump in the hybrid life. Living in the hybrid life. What you feeling? Hybrid life. Living in the hybrid life.
With Flo's new hybrid plan, postpaid and prepaid come together as one with no overages, no contract, no deposit, and no catch.
Hybrid.
Bundle up now and get 50 gigabytes of data and 2,000 anywhere minutes for only $55 per month, plus a discounted smartphone.
You see the new phone plan that Flo made? You could turn postpaid to prepaid.
Whatever you are celebrating, birthdays, anniversaries, engagements, retirement, or just celebrating life, the place to be is at Basil's Bar Kingstown. Established for over 38 years, we are open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with an exquisite ambiance. We have a set menu and 3 a la carte menus to choose from, and we are flexible to all requests. We go above and beyond to serve you. Basil's Bar Kingstown, where it's more than just a meal, it's an adventure. Call for reservations at 457-2713.
Welcome back, and you're listening to 88.2 FM The Sound. We're talking about service excellence in the tourism industry. Let's take a caller.
Good morning. I'm Jackie, front desk agent at Holiday Villa Hotel for the past 25 years.
25 years. Great. So, Jackie, tell us, what makes an excellent front desk agent?
I love my job. As a service provider, I'm always polite to customers. I'm very helpful and I smile a lot. You know, visitors as well as locals feel very welcome when you treat them with respect and concern for their welfare.
Very true. We all need to look at it that way.
Yes, you see, tourism is everyone's business. You've got to live it, love it, embrace it.
Tourism is for me. Tourism is for you. Tourism is everyone's business. Yeah. Live it, love it, embrace it.
99.9 WEFM.
All right, welcome back to Activated Mornings. The time is now 8:34, and like we said earlier, if you're just joining us and you missed that memo, the WhatsApp number, you're not able to connect with us at this time via the WhatsApp, which is 4579994. So if you want to call us, 4579997, or you can hop over to Facebook and YouTube at WFM99SVG and join the live there. Speaking of which, follow us on various platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at WFM99SVG. So let's continue. Labor Day. Well, Labor Day, yes.
So when you hear about Labor Day, just throw back thoughts. What was your impression? It was just a holiday, or it was a holiday with a purpose? Some people refer to May Day, Labor Day, International Labor Day is the same content that we are discussing. So tell us where your thoughts was when you hear about the 1st of May is a holiday or the first Monday is a holiday. So it's about just having fun, or you did some throwback thoughts on where you are to what you have accomplished as underprivileged persons who are working in the Simpsons and the Gradies. Okay, trying to find a different thoughts, not to say
Sounds
people,
so.
so underprivileged people who's working in these struggling times where we have to make ends meet. What about the issue of salaries? Years ago, somebody said, I could afford 30%. We see some minimum wage increase here, there, and everywhere. I went to get a workman, a mason, to do some work, and he charged me 100 EC per day.
A mason.
A mason.
He's a skilled worker.
He is a skilled worker.
Okay. $100.
You
It's 120. You're lucky to get 120.
Wow. So I tell them I'll call him whenever they decide. I won't properly brief. Okay, using lawyer language here. I couldn't afford $100, Christal.
Is either you pay or you do it yourself.
Well,
but you don't think a mason, a skilled worker, deserves $100 a day? Think about the work that they have to do. Think about how physically strenuous it is.
Well, I tell you something. If they're mason and they listen to me, they might not agree with me. So I'll tell you that I think they deserve whatever they get paid for, because it's a hard work. And mason work have to be done in dry season most than in rainy weather. Okay, I passed at a particular construction site Good Friday, Christal, and they were walking there at the hotel that they not at Diamond.
That should be 2 times.
I said, wow, these people are coming.
Oh, 1.5. Is it 1.5?
Yeah,
because it's a holiday.
Yeah, and that's a holiday too.
To go up on like scaffolding, to have to plaster, you have to know how to mix it right and how to put it on right, and it has to be smooth. And I tried shoveling and doing some things at one point. I'm like, nah, this is not for me. Plus, when you look at those guys, they're on roofs. I mean, the safety is another concern, but we're not going to talk about what's been in place since 2017 that has not gone on to the next step as yet in terms of the government and the law. We're not studying that this morning. Anyways, but to be in the hot sun, some of us don't even want to walk from one block to the next, let alone walking in the hot sun during the day. To be out in the sun for the entire day, and sometimes they take off their shirts because it's just easier for them to work shirtless.
Yeah, but that particular site out there, you have restrictions where you have to have your shirt, blazer, and your helmet on.
Yeah. So that's good.
Regards to how hot the sun is, you have to bear that.
Occupational safety, health.
Yeah.
I want to know why it's still an act. Why it's still on the tables? Why hasn't it been passed as yet? Why isn't it law? Why can't we refer to it legally? Why not?
It's an act, so it is not gazetted as yet? Wow.
Since 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, people have fallen off of roofs. People have died on jobs. What is there to protect them?
Well, that's a good observation because I know of a particular maintenance worker at the International Airport who had something similar, like you say, fell off of a scaffold, but because of his age, he was able to maneuver the fall and he didn't get any serious injury.
Hmm.
So, but look at somebody who is much older than him. It will be a challenge to deal with that. But as you said, that kind of work is really hard work, and we have to congratulate all these skilled workers, carpenters, masons, plumbers. And I've noticed on that side, Christal, ladies are involved in that aspect of work these days, especially
Better put in the same amount of money.
but they get equal pay.
Good.
They get equal pay. And I see if
No
somebody
stoop for less.
in my area who is doing some plumbing too, and she's doing surface plumbing, so that means she knows exactly what she's doing, and she's doing a really good job. So if you're a women out there and you work in the construction sector, we applaud you from the WEFM standpoint. It's one for making that extra effort. You are helping to improve the infrastructure development of St. Vincent and Grenada. And as Chris said, we ain't going down any negative. It's why we're trying to keep it positive because it's reminding you how important your work is at Labor Day or May-Day as International Day of Labor it is referred to. So you can let us know at 4579997. As we said earlier, it is not possible at the moment to send your thoughts at 4579994 until we get that service up. We will inform you. But the issue of Labor Day, May 4th, the government did make sure that we celebrate that effort on May 4th and not the 4th Monday. Have that change made any impact on your life, on your daily basis to see what is important? We're just celebrating the day as May 4th and much activities. Did we hear anything from the Minister of Labor? I did see something when he came back.
I could actually read it. It's not very long.
Yes, I saw something on Facebook where he made a brief presentation. I spoke to him at the airport, so I know that he was back because the Prime Minister did say on the East Shortland program on Sunday that he was acting Minister of Labor because Sobota Caesar was, but he's in St. Granny. So, Chris, I will refresh your memory with what was said by the Minister of Labor.
So, the Labor Day message for 2023 by Honorable Sobota Caesar, Minister of Labor. On behalf of the government of SVG, I wish to extend heartfelt greetings to our workers and recognized representative organizations within our beloved nation. International Labor Day is known worldwide as the day when we celebrate all workers in SVG. We honor our workers by acknowledging May 1st or May Day as a public holiday in celebration of the historic achievements of the labor sector throughout the country. At the Ministry of Labor, we are aware of the challenges that have faced our country in recent times. We confronted the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the effects from the volcanic eruption, both of which had significant impacts on our general economy and specifically on our workforce. Nevertheless, we remain resolute in our commitment to protect the rights and welfare of our workers. We recognize the role that the workforce plays in the development of our nation, and we are determined to create an environment that is conducive to the growth and well-being of our citizens. Permit me the indulgence of highlighting recent achievements within the employment sector, despite the effects of major challenges. Our efforts to restore normalcy have been met with positive results. Despite the challenges faced by both the private and public sectors, we have witnessed an increase in construction activities, such as the port expansion project and the construction of new hotels on mainland SVG, leading to an increase in job opportunities. The government intends to continue its dialogue with foreign entities to open the gateway for more skilled Vincentians to be gainfully employed abroad as we actively participate in the global labor market. In the same light, the expanding blue economy will be attracting a cadre of skilled workers from the CARICOM region and internationally to ensure that we have the requisite skill transfer to be able to harness the opportunities in our fisheries sector. Further, we have secured funding from the government of Taiwan to facilitate skill set training that will increase the employability of workers in SVG. Additionally, this year, a new wages council was established, the mandate of which is to ensure that all workers are fairly compensated for their work. Amen. This consultation process commenced on the 29th of March of this year. The participants included the Labor Department and key stakeholders such as the trade union movement, the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Employers Federation, and other relevant parties. This is in keeping with the government's dedication to reducing poverty and advancing fairness in the labor market. We continue to enforce our commitment to achieving Goal 8 of the Sustainable Development Goal to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all. The 2023 Wages Council will ensure that workers receive fair pay and that there is a fair distribution of wealth in our society. We believe that this is an important step towards building a more equitable society. Good. In addition, three more short ones. The Labor Department has reinforced our commitment to the mandate of safeguarding the rights of workers and promoting harmonious industrial relations. We are confident that these measures will facilitate our goal of ensuring decent work for all. As we look ahead to 2023-2024, the Department of Labor within the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Forestry, Rural Transformation and Industry intends to conduct another labor demand survey, which will provide updated information on the changing needs of the labor market. This will help us formulate policies and programs that are responsive to those needs. This government aims to strengthen the labor legislative framework to provide greater protection for employees. The Labor Department has devised a law review team which will evaluate the labor laws of SVG and make recommendations for amendments, repealing, and the drafting of legislation in keeping with the recommendations of the ILO, which is the International Labour Organization. I think I get in there. Okay, or not. On this Labor Day, I acknowledge the importance of celebrating the contributions of all workers in SVG. As we reflect on the challenges faced, one must also recognize the vital role our workers played in keeping our economy afloat during the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruptions of last February. Our farmers and fishers continue to make us proud as they fight to ensure food security and food sovereignty in an environment of challenges caused by climate change and resultant implications of the Russian-Ukraine conflict. Our Labour government will continue to defend the rights of all workers. Today, I wish the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines a blessed Labour Day.
Wow, I like to emphasize the issue of the Labour government, Labour and all capital letters. And I don't know if that presentation by the Honourable Minister has any indication that there will be sustainable jobs. He spoke about jobs, yes. There are jobs that are created from a temporary standpoint for skilled workers. But somebody will listen and say, well, what about sustainable jobs? Is there any effort by the government to deal with that aspect? Some people will say the private sector is normally the engine of growth in the economy. And he spoke about the construction sector that's taking place where people build hotels there and everywhere. But we need to see a little bit more encouraging the private sector, because I know this particular organization who is making an effort and see me can get the heirs of the minister to see how they could deal with the issue of providing sustainable jobs. But like I said earlier, it's not necessarily, it's not poor people, it's people who are not in a privileged position find themselves doing these jobs, these hard jobs that they probably developing in a skill for while they're on the job. Because I know there are persons who are laborers who becomes masons over a period of time. I know there are people who are referred to as carpenters, go there as joiners and become skillful after they learn on the job. So we again some aspect of persons who are transforming themselves from being a laborer to a mason. So you the same wall that Christal said is difficult to plaster. They use a piece of sponge to make it complete when they're almost doing their job every day. But you know, it's really important that the minister made that presentation, because I think I heard Philbert AKP John making a statement and the Easter Time program on Sunday suggesting that he didn't hear a presentation, but there's one available now and you could read it for what it was and you will determine if what is said by the minister is all cosmetics or full of reality and where we are going in the issue of labor aspect.
I just have one small issue with it is that the challenges were vaguely referred to, they weren't very explicit. So after reading this, I am not too certain. Maybe I have to go over it like maybe a few times. I'm not too certain what are the challenges that we still have to overcome as it comes as we speak about the labor industry. What are the challenges that we still experience today that they are working on or that we all need to work on? What are they? They were not stated explicitly here. They were just alluded to. It's like, oh, we have challenges. Going to continue. This is what we're going to do. What are they?
That presentation that you just read there was made by a politician, okay? And when he said that there are challenges, sometimes they're not necessarily challenges, and he just wanted to sound political. Because as you say, the presentation didn't say which aspect of challenges that the working force are faced with in civil again. So by he saying that, he knows that there are challenges, but he didn't say what the challenges are being.
So let us know. Let us know. Yeah, so exactly. So for example, somebody might be experiencing something and they don't even know that they're not supposed to be experiencing it. For example, working overtime, they may not know that there is a fixed rate for overtime. They might be getting less and they don't even know.
Yeah.
They may not know the rules or laws as it concerns NIS. They may not know about working hours within the day. They're supposed to be 8. They may not know what they mean. Although you're really supposed to go out and look for that information and make sure that you are in the right and in the know before you even sign off and take a job and sign a contract. You're supposed to know.
Yeah, but Christal, that's a good observation you're making, because here's something, right? When I am on this platform, I'm very careful. My head ain't big for nothing. Because Jude is running a business, and you can't be robust and aggressive with your thoughts, okay? And here what happened. When people think about working class, they think about Noel Jackson. They say this is the man that will point their fingers at the authorities for us to be better treated. When they think about information, they think about Bones Bundy, who been around a long time and understand the working class people and what it should get from what it shouldn't get. Okay? The teacher may say that we don't have a representative like Bones Bundy as or Mr. Robertson, and they may say, but the Public Service Union headed by Boucher is come over with a bit of politics. That may be so. But I believe that people like Bones Bundy is well placed. He has the experience to point people to where to get the information and find out if they are a handsome or rewarded for their pay. Because I know it have people who working at particular building site. After 4, they start to wash up and the bank will say, well, we ain't complete this yet. And you see that they probably don't know if they should be paid overtime or another day or 2. So information is needed, and that is where I think that the minister presentation, want a better word, is a bit shallow in terms of the challenges he points out we are facing, but didn't detail the challenges that the workers are facing. And if he's the minister, and he is the minister, acknowledging that there are challenges, he needs to identify the challenges so we could work on them and advise people where they should go and who they should speak to. But I am taking the opportunity to give Bones Body a call. Bones Body is equipped with the information, the knowledge, and the understanding of the working class people in Jamaica. And you could find him right here tomorrow on the Shake Up program and challenge him on that issue once he's here. Okay.
I mean, you could even reach out to the Labor Department, give them a call. I would have sent you to the government website, but then for the laws, and there are quite a number of legislation documents that are for the people. But you'll have to go and pay in town, come back to Camden Park, and then sit down under a tree and read it. Thank God we have flights every day. So if somebody in New York wants to know, they have to fly in to get it.
Oh, yeah. From Miami, you could come to it and go back tomorrow. It's not a problem at all. Yeah, that access is working well. So if you're listening and you're on your way to work, just use the information and the service that we're giving you to make sure that you're better placed to apply your skill, apply what you should expect to be paid for, and you could get the information. Like I say, the encyclopedia sits here every Wednesday from approximately 10:30 till 12, and you should call and quiz him and his experience and where he can point you to. He have the ability to be impartial, okay? He has the ability to be impartial. So keep that in your mind, okay? Right.
You know what I'm eagerly awaiting? I know that we have set up the Wages Council already. So we are talking about minimum wage in SVG. I'd like to know at the end of it all what classes are going to be addressed and or which ones are going to be changed rather, and what are they going to be changed to?
That's a good observation. You know why I said to you that's a good observation, Christal? Drive from the old airport, make a left at sign and go to King Garden. You see lots of domestic workers heading to their employment in King Garden. As you say, I wonder what is their salary? And they work hard, Christal, cleaning the house and putting together, washing people clothes and iron them and all that kind of thing, cooking meals. It's not an easy task. Ask a housewife. They will tell you, it's just work. And that's been happening in St. Vincent and Grenade in that particular area. And all over St. Vincent and Grenade, I wouldn't use the word, I'm not going to mention the word. I don't think they normally exploit their employee, but are the employees being properly rewarded with their salaries by the end of the month? I know, Christal, that a particular guy in King Garden, his wife died. You know, you tell me? He made, if he go for cook, he go for roast. What do you do? She becomes his wife. He said he couldn't think of anybody else to marry because she knows everything about him. So he said, old people say he good for cook, he good for roast. Right, Anta? Yeah. So that was how these domestic workers are so important in your houses and wherever you employ them. And are those people, these people at the hospital, these nurse helpers, oh Lord have mercy, I could speak to that. They are so patient with people who call them, nurse, I want some help. It ain't easy to deal with those kind of employment. And we really applaud you, and we take the time off at the radio station to say thanks for a job that you're doing and continue to make a special effort. And one of these days, the Wages Council might see fit to make a strong recommendation of your minimum salaries to get it where it should be. Okay?
You know, we really should be grateful that we don't have to face some of the challenges that were faced back in the day. You know, I don't know all of them, but you know, like things like child labor and working overtime and not getting paid for overtime or working really long hours and long days and not being able to get a day off, or in some cases you get very little time to get your lunch. You can have issues when you're ill. I mean, realistically speaking, we've come a long way, but in coming a long way, we still have some way to go. And I would really love for us to continue working on, like as employers, working on creating the best environment you possibly can to have productive workers.
Yeah, but Christal, how are we going to adjust the thoughts of an employer saying to an employee, well, I'm exchanging your services for money. What more do you want me to do? And I agree with you.
No, but you can't have me working in certain conditions that are not conducive for work. You can't have me working in a building that's hot and you don't have AC or at least a fan or open the windows.
Yeah, because Christal,
you can't have me working in mold either.
A few months ago, I made a comment someplace and I get back to the person I wanted to hear about the comment, and they called me and they were aggressive with the rumor that they heard. And you know what I had to do? I called Hans King. Because Hans King is very fond of that particular organization. And when Hans King heard what some of the workers was complaining about, he had to agree with me. And these are things that you want to say, but you can't say it on air because you don't know if that agency is going to advertise here and you don't want to put a rate with you. But I could tell you who they be off air. And it's not a nice thing when you have an organization like that. It's saying to the workers, if you eat the lunch here, you have to pay a lunch. And a lunch at those facilities is really expensive. So
walk with your own food.
Walk with your own food, but Chris, you have to get up. So, you could testimony to that. You have to get up, 4 hours, prepare to reach here.
A time.
And time. And nothing sees time when you have to reach to work for a particular time and you can't get things done.
I mean, there are certain things you could sit down and you can come up with a reasonable solution for. But I've heard like workers complain about not having sufficient tools to carry out the jobs that they are being paid for, paid to do. So then how does the employee expect them to perform at their best if they don't give them, for example, you're supposed to give them a pencil. How do you expect them to write if you don't give them a pencil? And that's part of the agreement. You provide them with the tools. I do the job. I get paid at the end of the month. I go home and I gallivant. But if you don't provide the best environment, the employers are supposed to take care of the employees take care of the customers. If the employees are not happy, more than likely that is going to trickle down to the customers. That's how, I mean, realistically, perfect scenario, that's how I learned it should be.
But
understand?
As you said earlier, there's a lot of challenges that employers are faced on the job every day. And we are in a position to use the platform respectfully to encourage the employers to make sure that the employees are properly satisfied. If you go and you make a bit an aggressive thought, there are people who listen and say, oh, you need to take him off the radio because he's too aggressive to the private sector. But hello, it's our people who will come to you to make a complaint. They wouldn't go to a grievance officer. But the things, quote unquote, radio could save everything. So they'll come and tell me. I get phone calls left, right, and center every day. But what I do, I engage my thoughts before I open my mouth, and there's certain things I can't comment on because of where I am. I'm not placed here to be an aggressor and say all negatives, but we have to strike a balance with impartiality, isn't it? Am I right, Sian? Right. So we could get the message across that people need to be accounted for, and when you employ with somebody, you have to give them quality service for the salaries they are paying you. And let me face it, don't care how much money they pay you, you never feel happy, but it has a benchmark of what you should get, okay? It always need us need more. The taxi fare is like $70 to Kingston. I think I need about 80, but we have to work with rules and regulations.
You're giving me a drink for that $80 there?
Yeah, that's how I feel. You know what I mean?
All right, so it's 9:01. It's time to head to the ECCB bank rates for today and come right back.
Brick by brick, piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase, starting